It's tough to get in the rhythm of football, but once we got our feet on the ground, we knew that we were going to stick together and come out with this W.
History for the Hoosiers, a historic win for Indiana as their fans celebrate, but the work not yet done. And taking a live look outside right now, it is cold out there, but hold on just a bit longer because a warm-up is on the way.
Live from Chicago, this is Fox 32 News at 9.
And thank you so much for joining us on this first day of the new year. I'm Scott Schneider. We begin with breaking news. A 7-year-old child recovering tonight from a shooting. It happened on the northwest, just off of West Division Street, where police say a 7-year-old was shot inside of a residence, wounded in the left arm. The child tonight in serious condition. No word on whether there are any suspects as police continue to investigate. Let's turn our attention to the weather. In fact, let's get right to meteorologist Mark Strell for a first check of the forecast.
Hey, we had a little bit of a light dust up on the far northern suburbs today, especially in Lake County. Didn't amount to much, but most of the rest of Chicago saw nothing. Tonight, it should be clear and cold for much of the overnight hours. Temperatures now 19 at O'Hare, 17 at the Lakeshore, 20 now at Midway, with a few clouds being pushed in from the south into the southwest even as we speak. Winds are pretty light, but even light winds, good enough to reduce the wind chill values, down to about 11 from Waukegan to O'Hare to the lakefront. Mostly teens in wind chill land here tonight. We're going to continue to see some light snowfall drift away from us. Tomorrow, some sunshine in store for us, but another cool one before we start to moderate over the weekend and warm next week.
Thank you, Mark. A deadly hit and run is under investigation tonight in Riverdale. Police say a driver struck a woman and then took off. Our Leslie Moreno learning new information tonight about the victim, including their identity. Leslie.
Hey, Scott, good evening. Yeah, we now know the identity of that woman, 72-year-old Harriet Reynolds. We spoke with her best friend earlier this evening. She says Reynolds was buying cigarettes at a nearby gas station when she was struck and killed. That friend we spoke with says she watched as all of this unfolded from her living room window.
Good person with a good heart, good soul.
Tonight, Kathy Ortiz is mourning the loss of her best friend, 72-year-old Harriet Reynolds.
This person that killed her knocked her out of her shoes. That's how hard they hit her, pulling into this gas station.
Riverdale police say Reynolds was struck and killed on Wednesday night at this HP gas station along South Indiana Avenue. The driver fled the scene. Ortiz says they both lived at the same senior building together across the street. She says Reynolds went to buy cigarettes like she normally does and was struck as she was walking out the door. Ortiz says she watched the traumatic moment from her apartment window.
She was coming out the door where the yellow posts are.
And that's where she was.
And it sent her wheeling where she ended up across of those posts.
So she was what? She was hit.
She was coming out of the building.
An employee at the HP gas station who also witnessed the traumatic incident says their cameras captured the vehicle involved. They were able to get that surveillance footage to police to help with the investigation. Ortiz says she begged Reynolds not to go that day, claiming the area has seen an increase in crime.
At nighttime, I would tell her, Harriet, don't do it. You know, you're by yourself, it's not safe. Oh, I'll be all right. Well, last night it wasn't safe. And I had talked to her, and this is what I feel bad about, is because I couldn't talk her out of not going there.
As of this evening, Riverdale police say they have no suspect in custody, but they have identified both the vehicle involved and the driver of that vehicle. We're now reporting live here, Leslie Moreno, Fox, Chicago.
Well, crime is down in Chicago. The police releasing their year-end numbers today. Between January 1st to December 31st of 2025, there were 1,400 shootings, a 35% drop from the year before when there were over 2,200. With regard to murders, the year saw a little over 400, significantly lower than the year prior's total of 600. The number of shooting victims also fell. It was at 1,800 compared to the year before at 2,800. Tonight, police are searching for a driver involved in a deadly crash on the east side. It happened at 10 this morning at East 95th Street. You're looking at the aftermath here. A gray SUV slamming into a pole. Plenty of damage, as you can see. Officers say the driver fled. Medics rushed the passenger, a 38-year-old woman, to the hospital. Unfortunately, not in time. The cause is under investigation.
Real excited. It's like I'm out there on the field right now. That's how nervous I am. But I'm living for it. You know what I'm saying? You baby.
Yeah, he may have been onto something there. A historic win for the Hoosiers today at the granddaddy of them all, the Rose Bowl. They took it to Alabama, and it wasn't even close. Final score, Indiana 38, the Crimson Tide 3. The Hoosiers led 17-zip at the half and never looked back. Local fans turning out at Kirkwood, the local IU bar in Lincoln Park. The IU's head coach, Kirk Signetti, isn't surprised. His team performed in the biggest moments.
Why should it be too big? Because our name's Indiana. We got a lot of veteran starters. They've played a lot of successful football in their careers. They have high character. They have great leadership and character on this football team.
It's just a great conglomerate of individuals coming together and really forming complementary football. Coach Sig has hit on us, no complacency. And especially when you have a bye, it's tough to get in the rhythm of football. But once we got our feet on the ground, we knew that we're going to stick together and come out with this W.
Well said, QB1. Here's an interesting factoid for you. Today's bowl win, the first by IU bowl win of any kind since 1991. That was the Copper Bowl. Tina Wynn will have full highlights later on. 2026 is already starting off as life-changing for several Chicago area families because they are now parents. We've got the images of the New Year's babies here in Chicagoland. You can see more on our website, fox32chicago.com. Our Brett Bagansky shows us why, for one couple, this new year is shaping up to be the best start possible to 2026.
Great way to start the new year.
Meet Juliana Marie Poor, who was born at 12:20 a.m. New Year's Day at Northwestern Medicine Prentice Women's Hospital. I caught up with her parents, Kayla and Preston Poor.
How's she doing right now?
She's doing really good.
Doing really well.
She's tuckered out. She's just hanging.
8 pounds, 8 ounces, 21 and a half inches long.
What have these last 12 hours been like?
I think Juliana's gotten the most amount of sleep, maybe Mom the least, but she's been super chill. Due date was actually the 1st, so we were due 1/1.
Even with that due date, their doctors told them there would be about a 4% chance Juliana would be born minutes after the clock hits midnight. So they treated New Year's Eve just like any other Wednesday.
Yesterday, around 4:30, we took a walk, just Preston and I, to the lake from our house, just to get out, get some fresh air. My parents were there watching our son. And on the way back from the lake, I was like, oh, these contractions are kind of picking up.
Time to go. We were kind of keeping an eye on the countdown to the new year. I would say that was a little bit of a distraction.
Speaking of distraction, as Kayla and Preston were soaking in their first day with their newborn and making plans to leave the hospital for Friday, there was something else they were looking at.
We both went to Indiana. That's where we met. So yeah, we're eagerly cheering on the Hoosiers here for the Rose Bowl.
And to have it be on the day where the Hoosiers are playing, we're just getting a lot of love over the texts and calls right now.
Happy mom and dad and happy baby.
Through the sleep deprivation and all the pain and all the different, stuff going on, try to find little moments of joy.
Time speeds up when the baby gets here, so
really
try to enjoy every moment of it.
Brett Bagansky, Fox Chicago.
A new year means new laws. We are looking at a few of those in Illinois and in Indiana. Keep it here.
Save big with these hot deals.
On this January 1st, there are literally hundreds of new laws that are going into effect here in the land of Lincoln. Too many to list on the air, but here are a few highlights. Beginning today, the state's 1% grocery tax is officially eliminated. Another new Illinois law allows senior citizens to say no to an in-person behind-the-wheel driver's exam to maintain their license until they turn 87. Among the more controversial new laws, people who are terminally ill can self-administer lethal doses of medication without a healthcare provider being present. It's known as Deb's Law. And while Indiana traditionally enacts most of its new laws in July, there are a few on the books today, starting with new SNAP restrictions that will impact nearly 500,000 Hoosier State residents who are no longer allowed to purchase sugary snacks or drinks as part of the SNAP program. And after an Elks Lodge was accused of racketeering in its charity casino, beginning today, facilities can no longer run bingo or casino nights in Indiana more than 3 nights per week. We have a complete list of the new laws on our website, fox32chicago.com. All right, first day of the new year, and as bone-chilling as it is, there is good news on the horizon, says meteorologist Mark Strell.
That is, if you like warmer temperatures. Now, tonight, we're down into the teens. Wind chills will be kind of flickering down to near zero at times overnight tonight. We've got a good start on the cold as we look up the Mag Mile. We do have some clouds right now, but I expect to see partial clearing very late overnight tonight. 19 degrees right now, winds out of the west at 6 miles per hour. Makes it feel more like 11 this hour. And temperatures, well, they are all over the place, from 21 degrees in Kankakee to 15 degrees now in Woodstock. We have 21 degrees in Gary. And the winds have been fairly light, but the wind chills still good enough to get down into the single digits at Woodstock and close to it in some other places like O'Hare, 11 degrees. Feels like 9 degrees right now in DeKalb. So again, to get down to about 4 or 5 degrees above zero wind chill wise won't be much of a stretch for most of us. Now, a little dust up of some very light snowfall, especially across parts of the Wisconsin state line earlier today, did bring a little light dusting across parts of the area. But you can see we were pretty much on the far southern fringe of that. That snowfall continues across parts of south central Michigan. It's pretty light here this evening, and we're done with it for the most part right now. And most of us didn't even see any snowfall, mostly relegated to McHenry and Lake counties. 26 degrees tomorrow, a little warmer, but more clouds as we head into the weekend. 31 degrees on Saturday and 32 degrees on Sunday. Sunday night, we could see a little mixed precip as things start to warm up for next week. So here we are tonight, clearing out overnight tonight. High pressure drops in. Next system dives down to our south, kind of falls apart down near Springfield. Our weekend stays pretty quiet with temperatures relatively close to normal. And that is, again, until Sunday night. We have a chance of some mixed precip very late during the evening and overnight hours. Now tonight, 15, the overnight low temperature, but with moonlit skies, we will find our wind chill much colder. 26 tomorrow, and your 7-day forecast showing temperatures into the 40s Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday of next week.
Mark, thank you. Let's go to Waukegan, where people were taking a dive into a freezing Lake Michigan for the Polar Plunge. This is a New Year's Day tradition, the event benefiting recreational services for those with disabilities in northern Lake County. 2 teens got access most Blackhawks fans never will, and their first reaction, exactly what yours would be.
When she told me at my birthday, I was like, no. Yeah. Are you serious right now? Are you trying to prank me?
Yeah, she wasn't kidding, and you'll see the moment that sinks in. An empty United Center, fresh ice, pros sliding you the puck. Like, let's see what you got.
I'm Tina Lynn. Next in sports, the Bears haven't forgotten about that loss to Detroit in week 2. Why Ben Johnson and his team has something to prove this week. Plus, what an incredible day of college football, right? How about the Hoosiers showing no signs of rust after receiving a first-round bye? How they dominated Alabama in the Rose Bowl. The highlights next.
Lions.
dream came true today thanks to Make-A-Wish and the Blackhawks, who opened the new year by moving a couple of young fans closer to the ice, closer than most ever get. Fox Chicago's Terrence Lee takes us inside that moment when it was just them, the ice, and the players.
This is morning skate at the United Center. It is New Year's Day. The seats are empty. The ice is very much alive. One of the teens is JT Byers. He's 16 years old, lives with cystic fibrosis. Hockey has never been simple for him.
For probably the past year and a half, just messing around with it. I was going a little flashy. Didn't go safe route. It didn't turn out well for me, but out here for the fun.
That fun showed up fast. Missed shots, big grins, no one keeping score.
They were awesome. They had great perspective. They couldn't wait to kind of do the shootout.
Waiting for her turn was Aubrey Malloy. She is 13 and from Joliet. She lives with a heart condition and a defibrillator. This was her first time in full hockey gear.
It's a lot. It doesn't even feel real. I don't even feel like I'm really here. I feel like I'm kind of like floating.
Floating turned into moving, slow at first, then a little braver.
These kids are going through something way worse than we'll ever experience, and to be able to bring joy, and then even just their attitudes, you know, how they approach the day and what they're facing, and just to have a lot of fun with them, and you know, remind us that there's more to life.
From behind that glass, JT's dad saw it all, every step, every smile.
And to see him today, actually kind of able to skate around like a, you know, he's doing awesome.
For Aubrey's family, this ice carries memories. Her dad loved hockey.
She's got the Blackhawks in her blood, so she's always going to be a fan, and we're going to be reliving this for many, many days, many months ahead.
Terrence Lee reporting. Blackhawks, by the way, taking on Dallas Stars right now. Aubrey, JT right there in the stands. But after what they saw this morning, the head coach joking they might get a shift before it's all over.
All right, time now for sports. Year one under Ben Johnson, and the Bears have certainly exceeded expectations. They'll close out the regular season on Sunday against the Lions. And it's safe to say these are two very different teams than the ones that met back in week 2. This time around, the Bears are chasing more than just revenge. The 2 seed still on the line, and one last statement to make right before the playoffs.
Win or lose, you move on to the next one. And I think that's one of the things that our team has done a really good job of in all phases. I think Ben's done a great job of maintaining the focus for the team on the task at hand. And look, we're looking forward to playing against a really good Detroit team.
Okay, so that 52-21 loss to Detroit still lingers. Now division champs, the Bears are focused on bouncing back the way they have all season long. Coaches challenged this group early to learn fast and grow. Here's Declan Doyle on why it mattered.
The biggest thing is that we didn't just approach Caleb that way. We really approached everybody that way. And it was, you know, it's a championship level standard. We have an expectation about how we want to operate. And when you demand, you know, of people, generally they want to rise to the occasion, especially guys that do have a growth mindset that want to be the best. Caleb is a great example of that. You know, we certainly put a lot on his plate early, and there were times where it doesn't always look clean, and yet that's really where growth comes from is you know, going out and, you know, we might have failed at a practice in the spring, and yet that's the reason that we're here, because we were willing to get outside of our comfort zone, outside of our comfort level. That's been the biggest thing is we wanted to put stress on guys to try to get them to raise their level, and they were all very willing to do so.
Should be a good one on Sunday right here on Fox. All right, college football playoff quarterfinal, Texas Tech and Oregon in the Orange Bowl. This one was all Ducks third quarter. Watch this defensive play by Mateo Uiagalelei. Not only hits the QB, but he takes the ball away and rumbles down to the 7-yard line. Red Raiders with 4 turnovers on the day. Oregon cashes in. Jordan Davison on the pitch finds the end zone from 6 yards out. Ducks shut out Texas Tech 23-0 and advance to the Peach Bowl. They'll take on the winner of this game, top-seeded Indiana. In Alabama, in the iconic Rose Bowl game, Hoosiers made a huge statement against the Crimson Tide. Second quarter, Fernando Mendoza finds Charlie Becker, who makes a fantastic catch for the TD. IU led 17-0 at the half. Third quarter, more from the Heisman Trophy winner. 2 TD passes already. Make it 3. Mendoza Garza with a perfect throw to Elijah Surratt. Indiana dominates Alabama 38-3. Up next for the Hoosiers, a Big Ten semifinal showdown with Oregon in the Peach Bowl. All right, from the gridiron to the ice, Hawks hosting the Stars at the UC. First period, Hawks strike first here on the power play. Andre Burakovsky sets up Artem Levshinov, and it's an Artie party. His second career NHL goal. Hawks take a 1-0 lead. It's currently 3-1 Hawks at the second period intermission. Back to college football. According to multiple reports, Northwestern has added UCLA's Jerry Neuheisel as their QB's coach just days after hiring Chip Kelly as OC. Back with more after this break.
So you only check it twice.
Okay, so we know it's cold out there. Are we done with the snow for a while?
Yeah, for the most part, yeah. So we've got teens tonight, 20s tomorrow, 30s for the weekend, 40s for most of next week, maybe a little freezing rain Sunday night, but that's still a few days off.
Well, we'll take it. I'll take those 40s all day long.
They look pretty sweet.
Happy New Year.
Thank you. Same to you, my friend.
Thanks for watching at 9. Remember, you can catch us anytime on your smart TV. It's Fox Local. We are on all the streaming platforms. Always start your day with Good Day Chicago, bright and early, starting at 4:30. We'll see you tomorrow.
Officer,